How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Do they know something that we don't? Does big money know something? Do countries know something? Do some of the whales know something that we don't? Right now, crypto's up a significant amount, about 4.5% the day after being up yesterday, with some altcoins up 6, 7, 8, 10%. We also have stocks that are up significantly too. We have the Fed meeting later today, but we're also seeing some interesting news on a political level from some of these different cryptocurrencies. And we do have one piece of altcoin news that I want to cover now. I will be posting a video later today, most likely after the Fed meeting. So turn on the bell notification, hit subscribe so that you get that information as soon as possible. Also, if you don't mind hitting the like button, I appreciate that too. Now, there are timestamps underneath the video, so you can skip around a little bit, but I do want to talk to you for about 60 seconds on a partner of the channel. So I want to talk to you about Stoic, which was launched by Syndicator. They blend artificial intelligence, quant trading, algorithmic trading, all in one spot, so that way you can outperform in just about any market. They have $115 million worth of assets managed for about 13,700 clients, and they are an official Binance broker. So what they do is they try to rebalance once a day and aim to outperform the market. And this is compared to Bitcoin. They have outperformed it significantly since the crash back in 2020. So the nice thing is there's very little time needed for this. Now, I like to keep up with the market myself and make a lot of my own trades. But if you're someone that wants to put some money in somewhere where you don't have to control it all the time, this is a great strategy. Now, Stoic does not have the ability to create withdrawals. They just can trade for you. Also, you can keep some money on the sidelines to buy the dips in here. Now, there is a 5% management fee, which is less than some platforms. It's more than others. So you always have to do your own research with what makes sense for you. But when you're talking about hundreds of percents, 5% doesn't really matter as much. Now, I have a link to this underneath the video. They are doing a Stoic airdrop, so they're going to create their own token, which means that you can even get some extra passive money, some passive income. So definitely check out the link underneath the video to start trading with Stoic today. Now, when trying out a platform like that, I always like to throw in a little bit of money at first, try it out, see how it goes, and then have that be a part of my strategy if I like it long term. Now, let's take a look at the crypto market here today. So we have Bitcoin up 4.5%. It's weird how when we're at 38,000 now, it feels much better than when we were at 38,000 a few days ago on the way down. We also have Solana breaking 100. Some cryptocurrencies are up pretty significantly, with Polygon up 13%. So I hope you were able to buy. And I'll tell you a little bit more about my thoughts on this, whether I'm buying or selling or what I'm doing here today. We have Microsoft. I know I don't talk about stocks too often on the channel, but they had earnings yesterday and they did really well. They beat on earnings per share and revenue, and they still fell about 7%, 6 or 7% right after they announced that. Now they're up 5%. That's after coming down a little bit. So the market is really weird today. We have a lot of the stocks up 2% or so, and I want you to be careful right now because at least in the stock market, we've seen a lot of fake outs recently where at the beginning of the day, it starts really green and then it turns red by the end of the day. And it seems like big money or institutions trying to get liquidity from retail investors. So I'd be very careful about that. I'm not sure why everyone's been so bearish the last few days. And then all of a sudden, they're bullish. I think that this is a little bit of a fake out, but I could always be wrong. It depends on what the Fed says this afternoon. And we have some interesting news from cryptocurrency. IMF urges El Salvador to remove Bitcoin as a legal tender. They are imploring them. They are trying to get them to change it because they are worried. Will Clemente commented on this. IMF worried other countries will follow El Salvador, quite bullish that they take Bitcoin that seriously and are worried about the domino effect of the nation state adoption. And we're seeing this from other people too. Max Kaiser says that he knows for a fact which country will adopt Bitcoin next, but he can't say. Now, he could be lying, who knows, but I think that if someone were to know, it would probably be Max Kaiser or someone like him. He's a Bitcoin maximalist. He's very well known. I think that he has access to information we don't. And this is going back, stocks, maybe people know something that we don't about the Fed or what's happening in the economy, but also cryptocurrency. Do they know something that we don't know? Is the IMF so worried because they know that other countries are going to follow El Salvador's lead? So we have had some news on this recently. Turkey's president met with El Salvador's and talked about Bitcoin most likely. I think obviously that's what they're talking about. That's really what the president of El Salvador continues to try to talk and push is Bitcoin. We also have Tonga that is possibly copying El Salvador. They have a bill making Bitcoin legal tender, and they're trying to get that passed. So who knows what's going to happen next? But can you imagine if Turkey and then Tonga both accepted Bitcoin as legal tender? The IMF would freak out, and maybe that's something that we don't see that the whales do see. Either way, I think that Bitcoin at 38,000 is a good deal if you're looking long term. But I'm not going out of my way, since we just had 33,000, to buy a ton of it, because of the fact that I like buying when there's blood in the street, not when everyone's so excited and there's such a decisive event happening in a few hours. Now, we also have some other news. Vladimir Putin said Russia has some advantages in Bitcoin mining. This is fascinating. So this is kind of what Max Kaiser says. As predicted, Russia will start mining Bitcoin, not ban it. This will force the US to do the same, to join the hash race or hash war that I predicted 5 years ago. Who knows if this happens? I mean, I'd say it's probably more likely not to happen than to happen, but imagine that. Imagine the US starts mining Bitcoin and they start making huge orders, billions of dollars of Bitcoin miners to start mining Bitcoin along with Russia. That would send up the price. Of course, we don't know if that will happen. It's a little bit speculative at this point, but if they are talking about mining, they probably have mined. They probably are already mining. We do have some smaller cap news. Well, maybe not small cap, but Solana altcoin news. OpenSea is adding Solana NFTs Phantom Wallet support leaked images. So OpenSea may soon be adding support for Solana NFTs per leaked screenshots. A lot of people that I've talked to that are in NFTs or just use blockchain technology even more than I do, because I use it probably daily, but they get a lot deeper into it. They love Solana. They love working with Solana NFTs or working with Solana ecosystem because it is so much cheaper. And I've used it a couple times myself, and I'm talking about like 1/100 of a cent for a transaction on Solana. And that would be so nice. I know that OpenSea, one of the big things that I think they have to fight is gas fees. Of course, they use Polygon, but not everyone uses Polygon. So right now, there are a couple different ways that you can get away from some of those gas fees. One, you can use Polygon or Solana. Another thing you can do is do it off-chain. Now, I think there are advantages and disadvantages of that, but that's what FTX does to make it free to trade NFTs in terms of gas fees. And that's because they do it off-chain. They take it off the chain, and then you can trade however you want, and then you can pull it out if you want to, but that does help reduce some of the fees. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on this underneath the video. Do you think people know something that we don't? Do you think that the crypto market's just skyrocketing from here and everything's good with the Fed or with some of these countries adopting Bitcoin? Or do you think this is another fake out like we've seen in stocks recently and like we see in crypto a good amount too? Let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Now, I personally am not buying anything today because, like I said, I like buying when there's blood in the street. I'm not buying when people are super excited and the market's up 10% or something like that, 5%. I like buying when people are scared. But let me know your thoughts on this. I should say too, I continue to accumulate over time. I'm just talking about the bigger buys where I'm trying to take advantage of the market. But I will continue to dollar cost average into my favorite cryptocurrencies over time, just to make that clear. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.